screaming. What a pretty little dream. Let me tell you, Papa. Let me sell you this thing. It's limited edition.
Hello, heathens. Welcome to the 11th episode of Girls Gone Godless, where we may not get our own planet, but at least we don't have to spend eternity serving mediocre men in the celestial kingdom. The amazing song you just heard is from the incredibly talented singer, songwriter, and bassist Callie Crofts of Die Shiny, a badass, edgy electro-pop group rooted in queerness, activism, and religious deconstruction. I first saw you on TikTok before we started our podcast, and I became obsessed with your music, especially because it encapsulates perfectly what is really important to us on this show. So I'm just so excited that you're here and that we get to pick your brain and hear your story.
Yay! Hi, friends.
Hi.
We are so excited to have you here.
What are your pronouns? Tell me about your. I want to make sure I have the queerness right.
Right. We're both she, her.
All right.
We both have non-binary kids, so that's why I was like, we gotta make sure we get yours right. I know you said that you use any pronouns,
Yeah.
but I know sometimes, like for my kid, they kind of feel bad about correcting people, so I just wanted to like make sure what makes you happiest. But if any goes, then that's great too.
Any goes. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, she, her, and bisexual, pansexual. I mean, bisexual my whole life, and then kind of realized that I fit more into like pansexual, but I feel like bisexual just kind of comes out.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's kind of a broad term. I mean, you can be bisexual and still like non-binary trans people.
Yeah.
I don't know. They kind of cross over.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I'm just not straight. I'm just queer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, queer is my favorite way to put it because I don't need to explain myself to you.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's also weird because I'm older. I'm 44. So when I was like a kid or a teenager, even up until recently, I felt like queer was derogatory and it was like used that way. And I know that like we kind of gained that back. But sometimes even when I hear queer, I'm like, like when I say it, I'm like, oh, wait, yes, we are saying that.
Right.
Interesting.
Things, cycle through and you kind of take the power back.
Yeah.
Like cunt is like the
Yes.
best word ever. And I feel like we've taken that back. So
yeah, 100%.
awesome.
So should we start at the beginning? Do you want to talk a little bit about your religious background and your upbringing?
Yeah, sure. So I was born and raised Mormon, and I am using the term Mormon. We're using it.
Right, because that's what it was. Did you know this, Christina, that they tried to take back the word Mormons? Like we don't go by that.
Yeah.
That always confuses me because it's like LDS and then Mormon and I don't.
Yeah, it's like the official name is Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, LDS,
Yeah.
It was always Mormons. It's funny because you learn those things were just like personality disagreements from like past prophets and current prophet of the church. The current president of the church always hated Gordon B. Hinckley, who was a very popular president and really smart with PR. And he like went with the Mormons. He did the Meet the Mormons movie and loved using the nickname, And now the current guy got into power and was like, no.
Isn't it interesting how they can just change their mind about so many things? They're like, actually, you can show your shoulders now. God has told me.
It's almost like they're just men doing what they want.
Right.
I'm not sure if you've listened to any episodes, but I was not born with any religion. So like everything I've learned was either from television or movies or just research that I've done on my own. So my face a lot is like, what? Or Noe will have to stop and be like, okay, to explain for Christina because she doesn't know what the fuck is going on.
It's kind of fun.
My eyes will get this big and I will sigh a lot or like roll my eyes or just be like, what the fuck? So just be prepared for that.
Well, that's fun for us because we have weird stories and someone needs to be interested in them.
Right. It kind of validates how weird it is when you're used to it. And then when you're like, what the fuck? I'm like, oh, thank you. That's valid. Appreciate it.
So true.
Okay. So you grew up in Idaho, you said?
Yeah. Yep. In a tiny, very rural farming town. So keeping things in a nutshell, how do I do? Well, I don't need to keep things in a nutshell. We're having a conversation. Damn, my story can get really long. So my family, they weren't like intense, but at the same time, their beliefs were intense. You know, they were kind and open-hearted to different kinds of people. So I feel like I was taught empathy and a general goodness that some people are not taught when they have more intense parents.
Right.
So that was nice, but at the same time, like it was true blue, very deep, devout belief. And when I was born, my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. That,
Oh.
like, she thought that the first time she noticed a lump, she thought it was from breastfeeding me. So that's how, yeah, I was born
wow.
into that. And so that kind of made my childhood extra, like, hold tight to the faith.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And I'm sure that you've talked to other people about how they, like, high control religions really kind of get their claws in when you're going through trauma.
100%.
So I was kind of born into that. um,
Yeah.
where even as I like became a teenager, I always kind of had a rebel spirit. And I think that I believe that has to do with neurodivergence. I think people who are like ADHD, autistic, many different kinds of neurodivergent kind of just have a rebel spirit naturally
Right.
in our
Yes.
society.
Especially when the rules don't make sense at all. We're like, well, I'm not doing that because that's
Exactly.
not logical. Yeah, I
Make
feel
me
that.
understand the rule, and then I will, if I get why it's necessary, then I
Right.
will fully respect it. So even when I kind of noticed that rebel spirit emerging, I still had this baseline of complete devout belief in the doctrine of the church. I believe that I would have been less serious about it and maybe left the church sooner without that trauma of losing my mom. She passed away when I was 8.
I'm
And
so
I'm so
sorry.
sorry.
I thank you. I just had this, it was very testimony strengthening. Yeah,
Yeah.
to have that loss in my life and all the things that I had been taught about why it's okay that I'm losing my mom were like an anchor for me.
Yeah, of course. And
Mm.
you're so little, and all of the people around you, I mean, that's what you're being taught. So, of course, you're going to believe it and soak that up.
Yes. So the population sign still in my little town of Firth, Idaho is like 475 or something.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
wow. That's little,
I thought
tiny.
I thought I lived in a tiny town and it's 9,000 people.
The community was very tight knit. And that was a beautiful part of the religion. I was the youngest in my family. So I had like teenage siblings who were going through my mom's death too, which
Mhm.
Right.
sounds horrible to me. Sounds kind of extra hard having like puberty emotions and going through that. But, anyways, our Mormon community and all the neighbors that just loved my mom and thought she was amazing. We just had extra moms everywhere and it was beautiful. It's strange. I mean, the death of somebody close, there's no smooth way. There's no way that everything's not okay, you know? And I talked about feeling so bad for my like siblings who had to go through that as teenagers, but it's just different depending on your age. It's like the trauma, the full-blown trauma is either delayed or it starts right now. So for
Right.
me, it's a really strange thing to analyze the way that I processed it because I couldn't as a kid that young. And I remember weird things like seeking attention for it, like after my mom had died, like realizing that that was a thing I had that I could get attention for, like in school. Just like
Yeah.
weird, strange little things. Of
I don't
course,
think that's weird though.
yeah,
Any kid would do that. And I mean,
yeah.
you needed it. So little.
It's so weird to like look at it as an adult and realize it's like I'm now watching a movie of myself as a child because I have these emotions that can understand and process it now. And I noticed a strange guilt that emerged from that when I first became an adult, where like I'm watching a movie of me and my mom's dying and I'm not handling it the way that I would want to. I don't know. I never
Right.
know how to explain this to people.
I lived with my grandparents when I was a kid, and my grandpa died of pancreatic cancer. And we were very, very close. I was about the same age as you. He would call me from the other room, but I was scared. Like, I was scared of him because he
Yeah.
looked different. And so I understand. And I also wasn't that upset when he died. Like you said,
Mhm.
like it didn't sink in. So looking back, I've always been like kind of upset with how I handled it. But we were
Yeah.
kids. Like, there's nothing else we could have
Yeah.
done.
And like your logic isn't upset because you're not judging a child as an adult,
Right.
but you remember being a child as yourself. Like I
Right.
remember being me, the me that I still am. I was
Yeah, and just wishing you could have done it
yeah,
a little differently.
yeah, exactly. It's strange.
Understand. Do you wanna tell us your favorite thing about your mom?
Maybe her voice. She was kind of the picture perfect homemaker. Like anyone in our community in my little town that you talk to would still be like, she was an angel. She was a perfect mom. Like she sewed her own clothes. She could have been a fashion designer. She was really good at that.
It's
And
really
all of
cool.
her friends like kind of really wanted her clothes. Like you're so fashionable.
Oh.
So it
But
sounds like she was pretty artistic
yeah,
also, and it sounds like that has passed through the family a lot, right?
yeah, and my dad is too. So we're all kind of
Yeah.
a creative bunch. My
Nice.
dad's a
Awesome.
musician.
Did a little research on you yesterday because I wanted to have some kind of prior knowledge, and so I was like, "Oh, there's, like, music in the whole family."
Good, nice. There's so much
Yeah.
out there. I'm like, whenever people say like, "Oh, I researched you," or I s- I saw you online," I'm like, I wonder what they saw. There's so
Right,
much.
right. Yes, I did see that, but this is about you. So, when did you start, like, when did your shelf start breaking? What do you have a moment that you remember where you started questioning the religion?
Yeah. So I was a very romantic kid, and maybe that was just something I would have been anyways, but when I went through puberty and started having more like adult emotions and understanding more, that's when like my mom's death kind of smacked me in the face and it was like it just happened. And a thing that I really latched onto was my dad's story of losing the love of his life, you know. And it was just it was just watching a tragic love story. And
Right.
that aspect of it really, really just sunk in for me. I was just very romantic and couldn't wait to find my person, and I got married in the temple when I was 19
Wow. Jeez.
to
What
a
a good Mormon.
yeah, to a grandiose narcissist, um, who was a little bit older than me, and he was a convert. I converted him.
My gosh.
He was all, super into me, and I was like, "I won't marry anyone outside of the temple," and he was a born again Christian, and I actually was like, well, I can't ask him to learn about my religion if I'm not willing to learn about his. So I went to church with him a few times and he took the missionary discussions from me and converted. We got married in the temple. Anyhow,
Did you think that his brand of Christianity was like, woo? And you're like, oh my gosh, you guys are weird. Like, my,
I did think it was a little weird, but I was really good at not judging. My parents had taught me good in that department where I was like, well, I can't just, I can't just think they're all strange. They probably think I'm strange, but it did feel really awkward to me having a worship band. I was a musician. I loved bands. I was in a
right.
band, so I was like, that's cool. That's cool that their church can have like kind of a modern
Right.
rock adjacent
Oh, right.
band,
Because
but
Mormons are boring when it comes to music, right?
very.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although I will say I love the music aspect of my church upbringing because I learned to sing harmonies really well.
Yeah,
Oh, well,
it
there
can
you
be
go.
very beautiful. It's just not the most exciting
It's not
stuff.
it's not the songs were the only part I like looked forward to at the sacrament meetings. Anyways, what I thought was strange at I think it was a Calvary Chapel, was the audience, the congregation being like, yes, yes.
Right.
I was like, should I
It's
be
happening.
doing it too?
Right.
Like, I love God as well. I'm just not used to expressing
Yeah.
it this way.
Right.
You know,
I know him.
it was new to me, so I did feel super awkward about that.
Right. Oh, how weird. So if Aaliyah was here, she would probably bring up how she was married in the temple.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna pretend that I know what she would ask, but I really just wanna know. So, because her kind of breakdown of, like, "What the fuck am I doing? This shit is crazy," was when she got um, her
Yeah.
endowments and got, like, the rental clothes that you wear.
Yeah.
I don't yeah, and she was sitting there and she was freaking out, and they were like, "You need to go into another room because you're, like,
Right.
scaring the
You're
people."
you're fucking up the vibe of the celestial room.
Man. Oh, I got embarrassed my very first time in the temple because the washing and anointing ceremony, which is like the part everyone remembers getting really embarrassed by, you would wear basically a poncho. So, okay, all right. Let me start. I go into the temple. I'm all like, it's so special. I'm going to finally experience the thing. The church is very good at preempting your nervousness about it or preempting your questions about it by, and this is my side note, like the whole time you're raised, you are taught to be excited for the temple. So you're taught to be really excited that it's very sacred. And you're also taught that you're not going to understand it. So
Mhm.
they do a lot of like preemptive, damage
This shit
control.
is weird, and people are
Right.
gonna think it's weird unless we tell them it's totally fine.
Yeah, like you go in thinking, well, I'm not going to understand it. And anything that is strange to me, I go more and it will be revealed by God slowly over time. So
Mhm.
that's really clever of them. I was definitely in that mindset, but so I had bought garments for the first time. I had gone to the little like special church stores where you have to show them your temple recommend. I was like, okay, I'm getting my garments. I'm not wearing them yet, but I have them for when I go through the temple. And so I like brought them to the temple, like in their plastic wrapping still. There's a sweet old woman who the temple workers often feel super awkward. You can tell when they're trying to like help you with things. So this sweet old woman was like, okay, now the first ceremony is the washing and anointing. Here's a dressing room. I'm going to give you this. She didn't call it a poncho, but she gave
Right.
me this clothing. And she's like, okay, now you're going to put your head through the head hole and the sides are open so that it's supposed to be that way. It'll be okay. She already knew I was going to be super uncomfortable
Right.
in this poncho thing. And I was like, okay. So I go into the
Yeah.
dressing room with the poncho and I have a little locker that I've put my clothes in and I have my garments there. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm in the temple now. So this is what I bought the garments for. Like, she didn't specify that I would be naked under the poncho.
Oh.
So I like put I put my garments on and the poncho and still felt really awkward, like, oh, these
Mhm.
ugly, weird underwear or like just kind of the sides are open of this poncho. And I went out there and she was like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't tell you. And then I felt extra strange, like, oh, I did something wrong already.
Oh,
And you're supposed to be naked under there. I was like, oh, okay. And I don't remember if that's one of the things they've changed now, where they don't have to be naked under the thing.
I don't know. Aaliyah, while you're puking, could you just let me know real quick? Were you naked under the poncho?
I'm sad I don't get to chat with her too, but
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
you guys would love
well,
each
you'll
other.
have to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll have
There we
yeah.
go.
Yes. I know it's been fairly recent that they changed some things that were extra problematic for feminists. Anyways, yeah, I was okay. I just quickly accepted like, oh, okay, this is the way it is. And the rest of the temple
Right.
ceremony, I was really bought into I will understand the reasons for these things later, especially the covenant to obey your husband as he
Mhm.
obeys God. I was like,
Mm.
yeah,
I guess.
I'm doing this right now because I hear that
I
it will make sense later. I was a good member. I made it a point to go somewhat regularly to the temple. And every single time that covenant to obey your husband just, just dug at me. Before I went to the temple for the first time, me and my now ex-husband took like a temple prep class at church. And the man giving the lessons told us that we would receive secret names and that my husband would get to know mine, but I wouldn't get to know his. And there's in his words, there's a beautiful reason for that. And if I'm ever in the temple with you, I'll tell you what that is. And I was never in the temple with that guy.
This is news to me. I'm still learning. Wow. Okay.
That's crazy.
I covenanted to obey my husband. I was bothered when the women had to veil their faces in the circle of prayer. I was like, why? What's wrong with our faces? Why do our faces have to be veiled and the men can have their faces exposed? And then I was always a little bothered by my husband knowing my secret name and me not getting to know his. And every time I thought of that patriarch guy who taught us the lesson, I'm like, oh, wish I could be in the temple with this guy at some point and ask him what the
Right.
beautiful reason is.
Have you ever looked it up on the website to see what his name is?
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
and
good.
the payoff was huge because it's the funny one. He
Like
got the
Mortimer or something.
Nimrod.
Oh, that's awesome.
No, really?
That is amazing.
Yes.
Is that for real?
It's real.
There's Mormon guys out there with Nimrod as their special
Yes.
heaven celestial kingdom name.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm curious though, when you got your name, did you think it was special and everyone got their own name, or did you know that all of the women and all of the men got the same name?
I thought it was special. And, they kind of herd you through like cattle and do these things, the rituals fairly quickly. I was just in a little booth with another sweet old woman who read off a prayer and gave me my name. And I was like, wow, she did that really quickly. Did the inspiration just flow to her that fast?
She's like looking at the list for, okay, what's today's date?
Yeah.
Elizabeth. Okay.
I was like, is that just how much of an open conduit you are when you're working in the temple? It
You're
comes
so
to you.
sweet.
You know, God doesn't deliver messages to women. Silly.
I know. It seemed really special. There was kind of a confusion that it was so casual. I was like, huh, did she just whatever was in her mind?
You look like an Elizabeth to
Yeah,
me.
it's like the wristbands at the fair, like they know what color.
Yeah.
Like you can't come another day because it's
Yeah.
not the right color.
Yeah. There was definitely a weird kind of balance between it all seems so casual and is that just how easy it is? To get
Right.
inspiration?
Wow.
Yeah.
But that wasn't when it started to crack for you.
No.
Those things got into your mind. You just were like, nope, I'm going to brush them away.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You asked when my shelf started breaking, and I had to tell the story of my marriage because my shelf broke when I wanted to get divorced. I was married for 8 years, and in a nutshell, my marriage was not good the whole time.
He was a real Nimrod.
He was a real Nimrod.
Yeah. I'm
And,
sorry.
that was awesome. Right from the beginning, he had some deep-seated issues that he never would communicate with me, and I just thought he wasn't in love with me or very affectionate toward me even for all of the 8 years, and I was constantly trying to communicate about it, and every time I did, he would just make me feel guilty, like, "I love you. I don't understand why you don't think I love you," and I would be like, "Oh, I'm a bitch. Oops, I questioned his way of loving." Let's see. I had a deep connection with another person while I was married, and that's actually Zach, my current partner. So we joke that Zach's my homewrecker. But he was a really good friend, and I had met him at work years before, and we never had any romantic feelings for each other. But I actually was living in LA at the time with my husband, and we were trying to record an album and needed a drummer. So I quickly after Idaho, me and my husband moved to Utah and kind of established roots here where I am now. And then we moved to Singapore together for his job, which was a really cool experience. When we moved to LA after that.
Okay.
So I'd kind of been a few places since Idaho.
And he was a musician also.
My ex-husband he kind of was from the worship band world,
Gotcha.
but the narcissist in him, he wasn't really, I never got that he was very interested in music outside of just, looking cool. So we bonded over both being into music when we were young and falling in love. And then I really like flourished with my songwriting, and it was like my main thing. Once I started realizing like I need a little bit more skilled of a drummer, I was able to talk to him and just be like, "Hey, I have this friend Zach who's really a pro. He's a great drummer. Like, I just want to fly him in and have him on my album, right?" So, yeah, fast forward, I had worked with Zach in Utah. We were coworkers at a music store actually, and then I moved to Singapore and didn't really talk to him. You know, we weren't like besties. We never had romantic feelings. We just got along very easily and respected each other. And so, yeah, when I was trying to record an album in LA at my home studio, I was like, let's just fly Zach out here. And that was the week that me and Zach had this unexpected, crazy lightning connection. And I was like, fuck. Like, I have been just trying to communicate with my husband for like all 8 years here about like, why won't you kiss me? You know, like what's going on here? Like, there's not affection. I don't feel very valued. And I would even try to be really sensitive about it. I'd say, is there anything you need from me? Are there any like even sexual fantasies? Like, are there any fantasies I'm not fulfilling, or just like support that I can give you? And the best he could ever come up with was like, well, like maybe you could iron my shirts. And I was like,
Oh my God.
what the fuck?
So he wanted
Oh,
like a
no.
submissive homemaker person to like, yeah. Did he stay a Mormon after you guys
No,
divorced?
no. He
So that's another thing. He was only Mormon for you. He was only doing these things for so he
Yeah.
like didn't know who he was or what he wanted. He was just like,
Yeah, looking back on it, I feel that he had a picture perfect little story and he wanted it filled with characters and it needed to stay pretty and work. But he had a lot of personal trauma that I know that he could not address and wouldn't communicate about. And he was like the grandiose narcissistic type where we would hang out with friends or family and he couldn't not just constantly talk about how important he was at work and how he should be a motivational author, how much he inspired people, how much he accomplished for his age. It was like right out in the open, so grandiose.
and you're like, oh God, honey,
Yeah,
not
it was
again.
kind of embarrassing sometimes, and people never would tell me that it annoyed them. And I just kind of became his cheerleader. I was like, yeah, he's talking about this thing. I'm joining the conversation. He's awesome. His
Right.
boss is jealous of him, whatever it was.
Right.
Everybody is just like, they're so annoying that we're just gonna nod our head and smile. And
Yeah.
then they think it's okay. Yes, I know. I grew up with one of those. It's not
Yeah.
fun. I'm sorry about that. But did you know you like were queer in all of this, or did you not realize that until later?
I
Or
didn't. It was really easy not to realize because I am a very like open queer. I'm pansexual. I can be attracted to anybody. I've recently learned the term demisexual, where it's like you're not really attracted to someone unless you're attracted to their intellect.
Right. Same.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
no, not
definitely
me.
me.
Yeah, we
I'm
know, Christina.
I
We
know.
know.
I'm a hoe. I'm a
The big
hoe. I've
blue.
always been a hoe.
And I
I
love
love
that.
that.
I
We love that.
I think it would be easier in some cases to be that way.
Yes, yes. Did you say, Noe, that you relate to the like self-diagnosed autistic?
Yeah. Yeah. I know I am
Yeah.
autistic, but I have not been 100% diagnosed. But when I started learning about it and really doing the research, it explained everything in my life. Like all of the questions I had about my childhood, like why was I this way? Why did these things bother me? Why did I have these meltdowns? Like I just thought
Yeah.
I was like a piece of shit. And it
Yeah.
literally was like a light bulb moment where I'm like, oh my God, like it's okay. Like
Yeah.
I know why I am the way I am. So
I feel that way. I mean, these days it's kind of dangerous to go get an official diagnosis, so I don't really have any
right.
interest in that.
Right.
But I am like, I don't like think I might be. I'm like very confident that I'm
Yeah.
autistic, and like that. I personally feel like that could be wrapped up in my sexuality a little bit, because I'm like, I just want clear, open communication, and like the sexiness of everything is so complicated, and like the little signals and the
The game.
Right.
The communication is kind of like it looks really fun from the outside, but like if someone wants to like sext with me, they're like, "Oh yeah," and then this kind of hot thing, and I'm like, maybe can we meet on Tuesday and do this?"
I relate.
Yes, I am interested and available on Tuesday.
Right? I'm like, did they send this in a friend way? Or it's like, it'll literally be, I want to eat your. I'm like, but what do they mean by that? Like,
I'm just like, I agree. I think that about you as well. Let's meet up.
right.
And then they'll be like, well, actually, and I'm like, oh, oops.
Like, oh, it was just for funsies. It's not
So-
really happening.
So funny. So yeah, I just why was I bringing? Oh yeah, because it felt really easy to ignore or not notice the queerness in me because I could be attracted to any kind of person based on their intellect or my connection with them. And gender wise, like I am happy with all the pronouns, and I'm used to being referred to as she, her, and it doesn't bother me at all. It's actually the reason why I took so long to realize that I'm non-binary, because I thought, well, I don't feel bad about people using those pronouns, like,
Right.
and it took me realizing, wait, we don't have to define gender queerness by the struggle and the pain of it. So just because I'm not unhappy with pronouns doesn't mean I don't have an inner experience gender-wise that's outside of the binary or,
Right.
back and forth between the binary.
Yeah, totally.
But looking back, I definitely notice it all over my childhood and teenage years. It was just really easy to not have to think about because the options for me that were approved of were fine too.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So
But
you weren't like crawling out of your skin if somebody put you in a dress. Like
no.
you were like, okay, whatever. This is, if I have to wear this, I have to wear this. But
The-
it wasn't like internally like a torture.
No,
for you.
I really enjoyed the femininity. I did hate being in the box. I did have a lot of angst about gender roles for
Mhm.
sure. And I kind of thought I was a little bit on the tomboy side, but that I would really embrace the feminine feeling sometimes. Yeah. And looking back now, and I know that like women who are not queer have this experience too. But like when guys, when boys could not just see me as their buddy and their equal, I had that so much. And looking back at my like personal psyche during those experiences, I'm like, I felt like I was one of them. Like I felt like I related to them a lot gender wise, and it bugged me so much.
Especially because it's such a quick flip of the switch. It's like you are friends with a whole bunch of boys and you're like running around and doing things, and then you start to get boobs or whatever, and all of a sudden it's like these friendships that you had, like they
Yeah.
can't go back to that. And parents don't help too, because adults are always like, I'm going through it with my 8-year-old right now.
Yeah.
He has a little girl on his soccer team. And now everybody's like, oh, Rachel's his girlfriend. Oh, I heard he has a girlfriend. My mother-in-law's like, oh, I heard, he has, and I'm like, can we just like, please, like just, they're kids. Like they're just friends. Like, can we not,
Right.
marry them off right now?
Yeah.
But we're the ones that are groomers. Meanwhile, they have all of these creepy little, oh, she's
Yeah.
going to be a looker. Oh, you know what I
Oh.
mean?
Yes. Ugh. Yeah.
So, shall we go back to your moment of deconstruction?
Yes. Yeah. We
No,
just
I love the
building it up.
tangents.
Take a minute to
Yes.
get there. Gotta set the scene. So,
Right.
okay. I had this super spark with Zach, who is autistic. And, they say that sometimes neurodivergents can just like feel the same thing in each other and instantly click. And
Mhm.
that's how it was with us. And neither of us knew that at the time. So in retrospect, we're like, oh, that was going on there. That week where he was in LA working on the album with us, and my ex-husband was the sound engineer, and he also had like a 9-to-5 job. So 9 to 5, me and Zach couldn't do any recording. And I was just like, oh, well, let me show you my places I like in LA, which I was new to LA, so I was still discovering it. But like, I took him to Venice Beach and we walked around, and my body was like, it feels weird not to be holding his hand. Like this feels like my person.
Mm.
And yeah, so we fell in love, but we did not speak of it. We both knew, like, no, this is off limits. We didn't act on it. We didn't do anything, but I knew that he knew. He knew that I knew, and it was like electric and obvious, like not ignorable. So we managed a whole week without saying anything about it, without doing anything about it. And then it was so intense and palpable for me, like hanging out with somebody that I could laugh with, talk to about anything aside from, those horrible narcissistic conversations with my husband.
Right.
I was like, we can go to the grocery store to grab ice cream and just laugh and have so much fun.
Right. Like things are just easy.
Yeah. So I was like, I cannot live without this kind of connection. Like, I've been this romantic all my life, and
Oh.
I have this glimpse of like, I'm not going to get this in my life. I'm not going to get like friendship and like best friend connection with somebody that I love if I stay with my husband. So it was like we dropped Zach off at the airport, and I immediately was like, we have to talk. I fell in love with him. Blah, 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 blah. Like, just dump it all. I didn't cheat on you. Like, I can't live like this. And so I just started a crazy shit show all at once. He was just like, this is crazy. You're immature. You don't know what you're doing. My family was all like, my God, what are you doing? Or, oh my gosh, what are you doing?
Right.
This is your eternal marriage. Like, you
And you
can't
were
just throw it away.
27, right? Is that
Yeah.
around? Okay.
Yep. Or I was about to turn 27. And I don't like keep secrets. I mean, I don't hide things, rather. I can keep a secret. I should have kept my secrets to preserve myself, but I was just really open with what was going on because I didn't believe I'd done anything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But to everyone in my world, it looked like I had just suddenly gone bananas.
Threw a grenade in your whole life.
Yeah, because I had never even talked to people about my marriage struggles either. It was like, you don't do that unless they're addicted to porn or like physically abusive, right? It was like, those were the only justifications, or leaving the church, questioning the church.
Right. The worst of them all.
Right. And that's such a horrible thing, is like the lack of realization that there's more nuance and more reasons why it's okay to want a divorce or to even seek help. Like, I thought it would be embarrassing to tell anybody I was struggling with my marriage unless it were for one of those reasons.
Right.
So yeah, everybody's view was just that I loved my husband. I was his little cheerleader, and we were married for 8 years, and out of nowhere, I fell in love with someone else and wanted to burn it all down. So yeah, I didn't have very much emotional support at all. And because I knew that I hadn't done anything wrong, I was like, I don't understand. I didn't cheat. I didn't even cheat in conversation, like whatever they call it.
Emotional affair.
Yeah, exactly that. I didn't have an emotional affair. I didn't like talk to him about it and communicate it with him. I kept it all inside. And what I had learned was that like our feelings aren't sins. Acting on them are sins. We act on them sinfully, then they're sins. So I was just like, I don't understand. I didn't do anything wrong, and everyone's freaking out.
Right.
And it really struck me. It seemed like nobody cared about my happiness whatsoever. I went to my bishop and talked to him, and it instantly was like, okay, he's exactly the same. All he hears is there's another man. There's another person in my life, and it's my fault. And I'm trying to wreck my temple marriage. He was a nice, good person, my bishop. And I remember just talking to him. Just remember looking into his face and telling him these feelings and thinking, this is a dude. This is an old guy. He doesn't have any way of relating to my feeling, my need for like connection and happiness. He doesn't know what I'm talking about. I decided to go to the temple. I went by myself one day, and I was like not leaving here until I get answers. And again, the same things that bothered me at first, the like obey your husband, the covenant, all the sexist stuff bothered me like usual. But the moment that broke my shelf all at once was I love that it's long enough ago that I start forgetting things.
The
So the
world is
temple,
healing.
yeah, there's a few different rituals in there, but the endowment ceremony is the most common one that when people say, "Oh, I'm going to the temple for a session," they're doing that ceremony. You basically mentally role playing that the women are Eve and the men are Adam. So you're going through the story of the Garden of Eden and the things that happened there and God's communication with Adam and with Eve. And you're like role playing that mentally. And it was like watching actors in a movie play out that story of Adam and Eve, right?
Right.
And they would stop the movie at a certain point when God would communicate something with Adam or Eve. They would stop the movie and say, all the women in the room will now covenant just as Eve did with God that you will obey your husband, so.
Jesus.
Yes, thank
This
you.
is where I make my little
Yeah. And so I had this deep connection with the figure of Eve as the mother of all and as this wonderful kind of deity character in my life a little bit, even though
right.
that's not how we're supposed to see her. But the scripture came to my mind, which is one of the articles of faith. We believe that man will be punished for his own sins and not for Adam's transgression. So that's a Mormon like scripture. That's doctrine.
That's one of the few things I remember memorizing.
Yeah.
I've blocked out so much.
Yeah. And the doctrine behind that is like you're not automatically punished because of what Adam did.
But
right? You'll
aren't
be punished
we?
for your own sins. I know, right? I know. It's confusing thinking of that now because it's like, wait, you're automatically fallen and bad because of anyways.
Right.
It's basically the understanding you're punished for your own sins and not someone else's. So that scripture just came to me. They don't say that in the temple, but it just hit me in the face. And I was like, but I'm being punished for Eve's transgression because Eve disobeyed Adam and God comes down in their little enactment of how it happened, which you believe when you're going through the temple, like, oh, this is the real story. It's being revealed to us what actually really happened in the Garden of Eden. So the order of things is that Eve disobeys Adam by eating the fruit. And then when God finds out that this has happened, God says, Eve, what did you do?
She's like, I was fucking hungry. I don't know.
And then God says, well, since you did this, you now need to covenant with me that you will obey your husband as he obeys me. And I'm like, that's a cause and a effect. That's a consequence. That's you did this. And because you did this, you're being punished in this way. And that's when they stop it and have all the women covenant to obey their husbands. So I was like, that's a punishment. That's me being punished for Eve's sins directly.
Right.
So that doctrine that is like a core part of our doctrine that men will be punished for their own sins and not for Adam's transgression. For the first time in my life, I thought that doesn't apply to women. I thought they were using man like mankind.
Right.
But I'm not like that doesn't apply to me. And that's being proven right now that doesn't apply to me.
God is all knowing and all powerful. He knew that she was going to do that. Like,
and they'll even say that she was supposed to, that was the plan. So fucking men.
Right. So that they can punish us with having to obey men. Like, that is a punishment. For sure.
And when it bothered me before, I knew exactly how people would say it. It would be like, that's not a punishment. It's
a gift.
A gift.
A beautiful thing. Right. Because it's not just to obey your husband. It's to obey him as he obeys God. I'm like, yeah, but that's still one removed from God,
Right.
He gets to obey God. Why can't I just obey God? Yeah, that was the first time it smacked me in the face that, the scriptures of my church, the doctrine of my church might not always apply to me. I thought I was
Right.
equal here, and I'm not. And it just like broke my shelf kind of all at once. That did not get repaired. And I went through the rest of the session. I sat in the celestial room. I had decided when I came here that I was not going to leave without getting an answer about what to do about my marriage. And so I sat in the celestial room for fucking ever, like praying. And finally, I was just tired. And I was like, I feel like God loves me. And maybe that's enough of an answer for me right now. This all happened in like 2 weeks, by the way. Zach leaving LA, me telling my husband, my life blowing up. And like 2 weeks later, I had built up the courage to leave LA. And then I stayed with my parents in Idaho for 2 weeks after that. So it was like a month total that I was like, I have to get out of here. And then when I arrived in Idaho, I just was bombarded with, you can't leave your husband, you can't leave your husband. It's bad, it's wrong. Let me make you an appointment with the bishop.
Right. Those specially trained bishops who know all about psychology, and
Yeah.
it's not just some random dude.
Yeah.
So you were still obviously believing in God at that point, but
Yeah. So
you were moving away from being Mormon, but you still felt like there was a God, or
I should say that I guess that didn't break my shelf. It was the thing. That moment in the temple was the thing that was point of no return.
Mhm.
But I did actually still have a general belief in the church that I knew was maybe transitioning.
Mm.
I was just
Right.
like, what I'm going through with my marriage is way too much. I'm just going to put that aside for the church stuff is just bothering me and not making anything better.
Right.
And now I kind of know that I am less in this organization, but
Mhm.
that's too much to address. It's over here for now.
Yeah. You did enough in those 2 weeks.
Right.
Yeah. I was like, I can't just make such a quick decision about a thing that has
Mhm.
been a part of my life all my life.
Right.
That's what I arrived at. And I just kind of put it to the side and stayed in it just out of not wanting to make a knee-jerk reaction. But when my parents would kind of lecture me, because my ex-husband did a lot of damage by going to my parents and being like, this guy that she's in love with, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm. Right.
He drinks and smokes weed,
Right.
He drinks caffeine.
He drinks coffee. Um, so yeah, I remember getting kind of lectured about him. And even when my parents like accepted that I wanted the divorce, there was just immediately this feeling that like, okay, Callie is now single or like, waiting for a divorce to go through. And just this eligibility, this commodity of womanhood was
Mhm.
immediately on the table. It was like,
Get her
well,
married again.
you're gonna get married again. Exactly. You want to only date who you're gonna marry, and I don't know about this guy that I can't believe you would even consider dating somebody who. And I wasn't even dating. And I was like, my divorce wasn't even final, and I didn't even live where Zach lived. Yeah.
So when did you feel like you really I guess are you do you consider yourself an atheist, or do you consider yourself agnostic, or
I definitely don't believe in God. I don't know what to call my beliefs. I'll give you the quick timeline. I was with my parents. I was feeling smothered and frustrated. I finally kind of came to this empowerment of, oh, I can decide something just because it's good for me. Even
Mhm.
if everyone hates it, I can still decide it. So I decided to go through with the divorce. I ended up moving back down to Utah because I had a friend here who actually was non-active Mormon, and I was like, "This is driving me crazy. I feel like everybody is watching everything I do and breathing down my neck." And my parents were lovely to like accept me into their home, and they were trying to take care of me. But I was just like, I can't. I feel like a teenager stuck at home under the watch of
Mhm.
my parents. And my friend in Utah was just like, why don't you just come stay with me for a month? Just like breathe. And I was like, yes, thank you. So I came down here, and that made me realize I just need to get a job here and just move here, and somewhere where there's a music scene, somewhere where I have connections that's not living with my parents in my little town,
Mhm.
So uh Zach actually was living in Utah when he came to do drums on my album. And then
Oh, so you flip-flopped.
You guys are like
yeah,
ships
shit
in the
like
night.
fell apart. And it was because of that, actually. After we had such a connection and we were trying to make it make sense by being like, we're kind of just besties. We're like best buddies. I wish I could be in a band with you. And he's like, well, let me quit my band in Utah and move here. So, like, we
Oh,
were having such a connection. We were just like, this is how life needs to be, is like us together, us making things together. I can't, this is natural. This is what life is.
You're really getting these men to do anything. You have some magical powers.
He had really just kind of like, moved on and was excited to do this. And then I had to reach out a few weeks later and be like, don't get a job here for me. Like, I'm so sorry. I blew up my marriage. I fell in love with you. So yeah, that conversation happened. And he was like, oh.
Yeah, what was his response to that?
Well, he was like, I mean, I respect your marriage. He was really walking on like eggshells. He was terrified, but he was like, I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel the same, but I respect your marriage. I wasn't going to do anything about it. I was like, I know.
That's sweet.
But he had
Mhm.
confidently, he wasn't just doing that only for me. He was like ready to make a change in his life. So him, in his own little world, he was like, well, I have a past drum teacher mentor who lives in Sacramento now and has a bunch of connections, who's telling me I should just come out there and try the music scene. So he moved to Sacramento.
and you're in Utah.
I went to Idaho, ended up in
then
Utah,
Utah.
and was just like secretly pining for him the whole time. And we were having conversations via text. And I still was like, okay, all my bishops are telling me that it will be a sin if I start dating because divorce isn't finalized in the
Right.
eyes of the law. And
Right.
my husband was engaged to a new person within 2 weeks after I left LA.
Oh, well, he's a man.
He
He can
needed
do
somebody
that.
to iron his shirts.
Yeah. I told you my story can get really long. And I was just waiting for my divorce to be final and not sure what we were going to do about long distance. And one day I was just like, I could just book a flight. Even though like they're all telling me that I'd be a sinner if I went on a date with you before my divorce is final. Like, once again, the neurodivergent, the like, make it make sense to me.
Right.
Like, I know my husband is engaged, and I don't feel like this is sinful. I don't understand what's wrong
Right.
with it. It's a piece of paper. It's like,
Yeah.
I guess I had less respect for the law than I thought I did, which tracks for me now.
When you get divorced, do you also have to get unsealed?
Oh my God. You have to request that specially. So I'm sealed. I'm sealed to my
Oh.
ex-husband. It's funny because me and Zach are married now, but I don't call him my husband because I hate that word. So I'm like, my husband, and I think of my ex when I say that.
Right.
But yeah, I'm sealed to him. And
Good thing it's fake.
that was another thing that really bothered me when I was trying to still give the church a chance. Was like, I'm just still sealed to him? What the fuck? When I was still in Idaho, since it's such a small community and everyone, like, all the adults knew me, and I felt like a little celebrity in my little town because I was the youngest daughter of this amazing woman who passed away, and everybody loved her, and they all watched me growing up like, oh, what a sad story, like, what will Callie become,
Right.
So even now there's still like a lot of people who were adults when I was a child in my tiny town in Idaho that still feel some type of way about me,
I'm
Um,
sure, especially where
Yeah.
you are now. Like, how
Right.
did you I'm just curious, seeing where you came from and now you're like this badass queer singer and you're very outspoken. How did you find the courage to be like that and tell your family? How's that
well,
gone?
a lot of it is probably from how awesome my family was, I feel like an asshole around like everyone I know whenever we're talking about our childhood and like people's trauma with their narcissist parents and things and like not feeling supported. Like, it's so common. And I'm just like, I was very supported and secure and loved myself.
Oh, good. You had
Taught that
enough
I was
Which is
trauma. It's okay.
awesome.
I was taught that I was very worth it, and I also I felt very securely loved by my family, so no matter what I do, I know that they will never just reject me as
That's awesome.
person that they love. So that's beautiful.
Yeah. That's one of our questions usually is like, did you lose anybody when you left? So it seems like whatever path you end up being on, you're not losing them like
Yeah.
in that sense.
Yeah, when it comes to my direct family, they will never outright disown or reject me or not allow me in their home or anything like that. I've definitely lost sense of relationship, a sense of being respected by
Right.
a few.
Mhm.
Like I'll just never be able to really talk about certain things. I can only talk about certain things that
Mhm.
relate to them, and
Right. Yeah, I relate
if
to
I
that.
deviate from that, I won't be respected anymore.
Before I met Aaliyah and Noe and even learned about any Mormon stuff, I got all my Mormon lore from Big Love on
Yeah.
HBO. But, those were like polygamist Mormons.
Yeah.
But even like the Sister Wife show, like the braids and the denim long skirts, and that's what I picture.
That
Yeah.
was
The-
more our vibe.
That was your family's vibe? Yeah.
Like one thing that I heard from the Sunstone Mormon History podcast. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's so
No.
good.
No, I'll
So
have to check it
good.
out.
I'm writing it down.
So they just approach Mormon history in like chronological order, and they aren't going to leave out any of the dirty, gritty stuff. And it's really approached from a historian point of view. Like we're paying attention to what stories have been corroborated. It's just so good.
Mm,
But
mm.
one like disclaimer they make at the beginning of their podcast is when we say Mormon, we're not just including Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, because like so many groups have shot off from that
Right.
Mhm.
in the Mormon world. And even though the current like LDS Mormons that are the most mainstream accepted Mormons, they tend to think they own that identity, but many people own
Right.
the Mormon identity.
Right.
So
And now
yeah.
in Salt Lake, like, is there really polygamists in like a compound and all that kind of stuff when
They've
they're in their little thing?
they've kind of moved to other areas. I'm sure there probably are some in Salt Lake, but the communities of like offshoot communities that have kind of remained tight knit and have their own way and their own polygamy going, their own structure going. There's actually way more of them than I realized. So I don't know about them all, but I know a lot of them have moved into other areas of Utah, or like I think there's some in Oregon, Colorado, maybe. They've kind of branched out to their own places.
Mm-hmm.
So
Interesting. Sorry, I didn't mean to get off track on that.
no,
But
that's
so Zach was living in Sacramento and you flew
yeah.
to him.
Yeah. I was
I'm
like,
imagining this like romantic
you know what? Damn it. I can
moment.
go on a date. It's
Right.
okay. I
Yes.
can go on a date.
Right.
I flew out there and it was very just like rom-com anticipation rush, like romantic. It's beautiful in my mind still. And my flight was delayed by hours and he was waiting for hours at the airport. And
Oh,
when we saw each other, it was just like, I don't know what to do. Like,
right.
just
Oh,
kind
I
of
love that.
fell into a puddle.
And see, didn't you feel like this is what God would want for me? Like to be happy and to be loved?
Yes. Yes.
And instead, were you feeling like guilty and shameful? Or were you like, no, just like all wrapped up in?
By this point I was not. So once I moved back to Utah and was away from people constantly like watching and asking me questions, and also it really helped that my ex was being such a fuck. Like the fact that he just got engaged right away really caused my family to ease up on me. They're like,
Mhm.
Good. That's good.
maybe you're
You're
right
like, oh,
about
he
how
is a piece of
I
shit.
told
Thanks.
you.
Right.
Yeah. And so you'd asked if he only was in the church for me. One, he had a giant special conversion story with a dream with God speaking to him, an angel. He was
Oh.
leading an army
Mhm.
of angels in a dream. Like he had this crazy narcissist conversion story.
Of course.
And then right after I left him in LA and went to Idaho before the divorce was final or anything, he 2 weeks later was like posting an Instagram like me and my sweetheart took a boat to Catalina Island and they had wine, and I was like, okay, so you just, and I remember talking
That's
to him on the
wild.
phone and being like, I asked him how he's feeling about the church. I was like, I I'm trying not to just like run away from it. I'm trying to make sure that I take my time and really consider what I want for myself. Like, I hope you're doing that. And he was like, church didn't work for me. It didn't. I tried it. It didn't work out for me. And I was like,
Because you didn't iron his shirts. He was like,
oh,
"This is a
okay.
fucking scam. I was told there was going to be some submission."
Yes. Yep. So I still took, 5 or 6 months to be like, I know for sure that I do not believe in this religion and I am confidently exiting after all this time considering. So I went to visit Zach in Sacramento and it was amazing. I didn't feel guilty. And I was just like, I don't even have to tell anyone. No, it's no one's business. I don't have to tell anyone I took a
Right.
flight anywhere. And I
Right.
kind of felt like a little kid breaking the rules in a very exciting way. Like
Right.
if my parents call me while I'm like in Sacramento, I'm just going to pretend like I'm not.
Right. It's crazy how they keep these hooks in you even when you're like out of your childhood to feel like you're
Mhm.
always in trouble or
Yeah. Yeah. And like that's probably partly the autistic side of me too is like, oh, I can actually just like not report on what I'm doing right now. I
right.
can I can pretend I'm just somewhere else while I'm on the phone with someone.
Right.
Lying has never occurred to me. I think I might try this out.
Yeah. So it went amazingly. I stayed with him for a couple days and flew back and was just like, okay, well, need more of that. And then my my divorce actually went through like a few days after I came home. And then he decided pretty quickly after our visit to move back to Utah. And he had arranged to stay at his mom's house until like he figured out where, if he wanted to get an apartment or whatever. So yeah, we drove from Sacramento back to Utah and we arrived at like 3 a.m. at my place that I was renting a room in my friend's garage at the time. And 3 a.m., I'm just like, I mean, you're probably really tired. You could just stay the night and go to your mom's tomorrow.
And
Like, you
never
could come
leave.
in. And he never stayed another night at his mom's house.
Oh my gosh. Didn't see that coming. That's so awesome.
Yeah, we really just went right into it. But like, yeah, we were just being besties, having a sleepover.
As besties do.
Right.
And I was really like not anxious to get married or have to feel like attached in any standard of societal way. I didn't make him like pay rent with me for another, 6 months. I was like, maybe we should split rent now.
Right.
But
and I love you. Can you pay some rent? Okay. So when did the music start? Like when did you officially like start like through this time he had recorded, right, the drums.
Yeah.
But did you guys like start up your band?
Yeah, really soon actually. He had recorded that album with me. That album wasn't so I make the joke that my divorce caused my balls to drop because I got my voice changed. I don't know if y'all care about or know about chakras, but
Not really.
I
I've heard of them, but
swear
no.
my throat chakra just like opened the fuck up or something. Cause yeah, my voice physically changed. And that's a really interesting thing I love to think about. Our bodies hold our trauma and they hold our rules and our they put up walls so much more than we realize, I think. Because I had been singing since I was like 9, writing songs since I was 12, and it was my passion. It was my main passion in life. So I was doing it all the time. I was singing all the time. And the first album I ever made in like 2010, I remember my brother, who's a musician as well, was like, "It's such a good album. I love your songs. I love everything about this. Sometimes I wish you would just like open your voice up more and just like really go for it." And it like plagued me because I couldn't. I was like, I try. I don't sound powerful. I would be like alone in my house, just like how do I sing?
Trying, right? Right.
How do I unleash power voice? And I should have taken some fucking vocal lessons. That's what I would tell my younger self now, but I just couldn't. I just thought, oh, I'm limited. My instrument is limited. My voice isn't built to belt. It's not built that way. And I tried everything and I just accepted that that can't happen. Like in the middle of my divorce, I started writing a bunch of songs because of course. And I was just like, what is this voice coming out of me?
That's
And
so awesome.
yeah, so I don't need to get into a whole thing about chakras, but I feel them. They're there. And I don't even necessarily feel like it's a spiritual concept, although a lot of people get really spiritual about chakras. They're just places like energy is real. Energy
Right.
obviously flows through our bodies, and chakras are just the places where there's a lot of energy converging, you know, going different directions, and it kind of converges in a spot. So like the way that we can hold our stress like in our shoulders, and it causes us to have fucked up shoulders, it's the same in many like areas of our bodies. And your throat chakra, if you don't feel free to express yourself, it's blocked up and has struggles.
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, especially in such a patriarchal religion, you're not taught that it's okay to fully express yourself. So I'm sure even
Right.
unknowingly, you're like holding back and trying to keep this sweet little voice and not even
Right.
realizing that you're not letting it all out.
Yes. It's so odd. Like our bodies are really cool. They're really connected to our minds. I know now, like there's a lot of there's a lot of tricks to singing. Like you can take voice lessons and learn to do things mechanically in your instrument that you didn't realize you could do. There's so much more than I realized. It's not just like whatever my voice is, that's it. So I'm sure that I could have taken voice lessons back then and learned to open some things up, but it's wild to me that I didn't do any of that. And just from deciding that it was okay for me to make a decision for myself and wouldn't matter if it made anyone else happy or not, that like made my voice more powerful naturally. Anyway,
I love
so yeah,
that.
That's so awesome.
we started a band together in just like 2 or 3 months after he moved back to Utah, and it was a rock band. It's not the same one we have now. It was cool. I learned a lot from it, and it was really hard. Like bands are really hard. So it was hard to deal with band members and band member drama, and we decided to end that band after like 4 years. Me and Zach were like, you know what? We can rely on us, and we should start a project that we're in charge of, that we don't need other band members. And we also kind of wanted to change the sound. This is why we started a new project instead of just continuing that one.
Right.
We wanted to like incorporate synthesizers and instead of just like traditional rock instruments. So yeah, we started Die Shiny with the idea that like this is you and me. This is a duo, and if we ever add other band members, we'll have like live band members, but we'll be like the core duo of this who can make all the decisions for it. Because like our old band, we had ran into like having a like homophobic member and just bullshit. So I was
Yeah,
just
it's
like,
hard.
I want to always be able to be the person making final like decisions
Yeah.
morally and
Right.
artistically. And we do actually have great live band members right now who are good people.
Yeah,
But
that's awesome.
Has your music always been very activist and social justice themed, or is that something that's recent for you?
it hasn't, because and I always wanted it to be, actually. Even as a Mormon, this is so funny. I just loved rebel spirit. I loved Ani DeFranco growing up. Do y'all know her at all?
Yeah.
So as a teenager, I was obsessed with her. as a Mormon teenager in a little town who didn't know anything about what was going on in the world,
Right.
I caught the like fiery activism in her music and I loved it and I wanted to do that and be that, but I didn't know what she was talking about.
Right.
I was like, I don't really get it, but I kind of
I'm down with it.
I kind of
Right.
get it, but I don't fully understand it and I love it. And like, I got that she was like speaking for the little man, speaking against the billionaires, you know, like I got
Right.
certain things about it and I got the feminism of it generally, not to its core as a Mormon teenager, but I considered myself a feminist. I was a pretty bad one for a while, I'm sure, but like,
You had to start somewhere.
Right.
yeah, you learn little by little. You're in a cult sometimes.
I mean, even with somebody who's like me, not religious, like, am I a bad feminist because like I like my husband to do these things, or am I a bad feminist because? But it's just
I don't relate to
I
that.
have the I know you don't. But no, like sometimes like I think, oh, he worked like a really hard long day, and I want to make him dinner, and when he comes home, I want to be like, oh, I have this dinner, and then I'm like, but I'm a like, does that
Well,
make me a bad feminist? And then I'm like,
no,
no,
unless he's
like,
like
it's my choice. He's
expecting
not
it.
making me do that.
Yeah,
I'm like
right.
doing this myself. I'm like, oh God, is this like trad wife vibes? There's this like side to you where you're like, I want to be, feminine and pretty and do these things and dress up and do makeup and everything. And then you're like, oh God, but
yeah, and those are I totally get it. Like, those are associations with gender roles, and it's
mhm.
like, there's nothing wrong with any of those. Like, I am such a homemaker. Oh my God, I love homemaking. I make the shit out of sourdough bread every week.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
And like I I have such a passion for like making my space beautiful and making it
Mhm.
feel just like this is home, right?
Same. And it's so funny because I mean, obviously you don't know me that well yet, but I'm very outspoken. Like I don't put up with shit. I've always been this way. I think it's the autism where I'm very like, this is correct,
Yeah,
this is not, and
me
that's
too.
it. But at the same time, then I'm technically a stay-at-home mom. Like I homeschool, like I grow our own veggies, like all of these
Mhm.
things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but not in that way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm doing it because I
Right.
want to. Don't
Exactly.
so that's what it is. It's all about choice and doing what you
Choice.
want, not because it's
Yeah.
expected of you.
Yeah, it's important to acknowledge that like feminism isn't just about the things that we associate with gender roles. Like
Right.
it's it's an empowerment and an equality, and all of those things are valuable things. Like you can have an interest in, like, if your whole vibe is like esthetician, makeup, beauty,
Right.
feminine, like that's an interest, that's
Mhm.
a
Mhm.
passion and interest, and it doesn't have to say anything about
Right.
your feminism itself.
Kind of a little tangent, but I feel like as autistic women, sometimes we do hyper focus on like the looks or, masking to make sure that we fit in well. And it's like one of the things that we can control. Like, okay, people are
Mhm.
going to think I'm weird and off putting. But when I do my makeup, when I do my hair like this or whatever, if you're conventionally attractive, you get away with a lot more. So that's
Yeah.
been part of like my journey of understanding my autism. Like, oh, I'm not self-obsessed. I was just trying to fit in and this was the only way that I got acceptance was like learning how to be attractive to other people. So that's
Yeah.
that's definitely a huge part of it.
With my recent like gender queerness realizations and journey there, I have so many thoughts on physical appearance and our journeys with it. Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
I know I'm going to keep saying autism, but it is everything is through the autistic lens for us. And I think so many people in the trans community are. And I think a big part of that is because we don't subscribe to what society tells us. We do what makes sense to us. And we're like, well, if this
Yeah.
role doesn't make any sense, that doesn't feel like me. So I've definitely had those thoughts like, am I a woman? What does it mean to be a woman? Does it matter? I don't know.
right.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
also feel that this is my theory, that so many more people are queer in different ways that won't necessarily come out, but the people obsessed with justice will,
Right.
or like autistic, neurodivergent people who are like, this is right and this should be accepted are probably more likely to just loudly show that
Yeah.
before others who don't have that same, like, I don't,
Yeah.
like,
Right.
for me, even leaving the church, because I was so secure in myself and my sense of justice, and once I felt like, well, I this is what I believe is right, and I don't have any shame for it or any feeling that I've done anything wrong. My thought was, well, I have to rip off the Band-Aid for everyone then, because the sooner that they accept this shocking change in me, the sooner we can get past their little issues.
Right. Instead
Mhm.
of like slowly, right. Every time
Yeah.
you see them, like, this is something new. This is something new. You're like, fuck it. I'm just going to put it all out there so
Yeah.
that we don't, every time I see you, it's not like, oh, now it's this and now it's that.
Yeah.
And
And I understand the other approach. I understand everyone has a
Mhm.
different, like, way of feeling safe. But
Mhm.
for me, it was just like, well, I know I'm fine. I know I'm not wrong.
Right.
I know I'm not bad, rather.
Right.
Like, so I'm just going to do it and show. I'm going to write songs with the F word in them and
Right.
wear what I want to wear and do what I want to do and shave my head and,
Yeah.
and I'm sure people were shocked as hell, like, at that transition. But
Yeah.
Right.
but we got past it sooner.
Right.
Here
Just
I
rip
am.
the Band-Aid off.
Exactly. So now, religion wise, through you and Zach finally getting together and all that, religion was still on the back burner. Was there ever a
So,
point where you were like, this is bullshit, I'm done?
yeah, actually, I would even say I'm not sure if I believe it, but I'm gonna wait till the moment I'm completely sure. I mostly didn't go to church because it was just a hostile environment. But one day, I woke up and was like, you know what? I'm gonna try it out, Zach. I'm gonna go over to the singles ward and see.
Sounds like a prison.
And I kind of seriously, it does. Ward. Um, yeah, I felt like I kind of knew I didn't believe, but I was like, let's give it one last,
Hurrah.
yeah, one last
Yeah.
the old college try. And I showed up to my singles ward in Utah and I just, oh my God. I I arrived just a little bit late and kind of like quietly shuffled in to one of the pews and was sitting next to this guy, a couple spaces between us. And he made some kind of joke with me as I shuffled in. I don't remember the interaction, but it was kind of flirty, He noticed me and we had a little interaction. I was like, right? Growing up in a female body,
Yeah.
this guy's going to talk to me afterward.
Mhm.
Then they passed the sacrament and I did not take it. And he did not speak to me or look my direction again.
Go in there knowing that you weren't going to take sacrament, or was it something that you felt when it was coming around? You're like, no, this doesn't
I
feel
knew
right.
I wasn't going to. I didn't really have a problem with people perceiving, again, very secure in myself. I
Right.
didn't have a problem with people perceiving me to be a sinner, and I really had like followed the doctrine as best as I could my whole life. And by this point, I had sex like outside of marriage. Like by
Right.
this point, me and Zach had a relationship that way. So I was just like, well, I'm not supposed to take sacrament. So I'm not going to.
Mhm.
I'm
Right.
doing the thing the right way and seeing how it goes.
Right.
Thought it was kind of hilarious that he'd
Right.
like blinders
like,
on the
nope.
second I didn't take sacrament. And then I just sat there staring at the bishopric in the front behind the pulpit and thinking, huh, if I met with any one of these guys, they would tell me that I'm living in sin and that I need to change what I'm doing and repent. And if I don't do that, if I tell them the truth that I am fine with what I'm doing and I'm not going to change it, then, then there'll be a wall there.
Mhm.
Like there's not a place for me here. This place isn't for me
Mhm.
because I don't feel bad and wrong. And even though I know doctrinally that I'm in sin, I
Mhm.
don't feel wrong or like I'm going to change it.
Right. Because outside those doors, you're like in the happiest moment of your life. And
Yeah.
right? You're
I
like,
remember one moment there, I would have little moments that really hit me. One of them was not wearing my garments for the first time. It was very spiritual to me. I actually I wrote a song about it, and a music video about it.
Which one is that?
Sacrament.
Obsessed.
Mhm.
Did you see the music video?
Wait,
Oh,
is that the one where you're in the wedding dress?
Yeah.
I
I
love it.
love that
It's
one.
incredible.
That is a blasphemous song, but I love it. It means a lot to me. But yeah, the first time that I decided not to wear garments, I don't know, maybe it was like a month after Zach had moved back and was basically living with me. Oh, and just I mean, I don't know how slutty we get on this podcast, but like
Please, so
Very.
slutty.
I don't know how open we get, but the waiting for sex, trying to make sure that I'm like really considering the religion and not doing anything quickly that I might regret. So hot that we lived together not having sex for a couple months and it was hot. Yeah, we would
That
be like
buildup.
in a moment where it's like, this is bad. No, maybe not.
Right.
I'm not sure if I would regret it. Maybe not. Maybe not that.
Right. You're like,
And I'd be
give
like,
enough room for the Holy Spirit. We gotta put enough space. Put enough space.
we'd be like real hot and heavy in a moment, and I'd be like, let's not go to this level just yet.
That's some pretty good self-control.
Yes, for sure.
But
Again,
yeah,
I don't know what self-control is when it comes to that. So
But yeah, I decided I'm not going to wear my garments today, and I remember at the time I was still wearing skinny jeans. I remember pulling on my skinny jeans, like, it's an effort, and not having to pull them over this whole like knee length short and feeling the denim against my own thighs. And I just like lost all my shit crying. I was just
Oh
like,
my
these are
gosh.
my pants. These are my thighs, and I am putting my pants on my thighs. It
Oh
still
my
makes me
gosh.
emotional.
I would never think of that, but that like makes so much sense.
Right. Well, you're
Yeah.
taught so much that like your body isn't yours and it's something to be like ashamed of or
Yeah.
and I
So
imagine a sensory nightmare pulling up skinny jeans
Oh my
over
God.
those long cotton, oh
knickers.
Lord,
Isn't that what
Yeah.
they pretty much are?
pantaloons.
They're horrible. Yeah.
The shelf straight to hell. Stop. We've been embalmed by the anti-blood. Now we're bright and shiny and we all
Can we go on a quick tangent because Aaliyah's not here to reel me in? But did you do baptism of the dead and all that stuff?
Yeah, I think you can do that starting at 14 if I remember right.
And did you just pick random people or did you go by the list?
So the temple actually provides the list. When you're an adult, if you have done a bunch of research into your own like genealogy and you find names that are not members of the church, you can bring those to the temple, and there's probably some organized process for submitting those.
So you can't be like, oh, I want Brad Pitt. I want Brad Pitt to
Yeah.
be in the celestial kingdom, so
Well,
I'm going to
he's not
baptize
dead
him.
yet.
You used to be able to do that, and the church got in trouble. Do you know about this?
I don't know.
They
No.
used to allow you to bring the name of anyone. They didn't have to be in your own ancestry. And
Okay.
the church got in like hella trouble for doing a bunch of Holocaust victims.
Oh Lord.
For
Fuck, of
baptizing-
course they did.
They would just go over lists of Jewish people who'd been killed in the Holocaust and get baptized for them. And it was like super offensive to
Yeah.
Jewish people when they found that out.
'Cause it's like without your consent against your
Yeah,
will. And I mean,
exactly.
obviously it's bullshit, so it doesn't really matter. But to people
Yeah.
who think it's true or people who have their own faith, you're like,
I always wondered as a kid, because I was very logical and like questioning, this doesn't make sense. I'm like, why do I have to follow all of these rules if you're just going to baptize me when I'm dead? Do you know what I mean?
know.
Like,
I know.
I mean, I was baptized, but like, it just didn't make sense to me.
I actually felt, and I think I've talked to a lot of ex-Mormons who had this same feeling, where they felt so devastated that they learned about the church and got baptized. They felt devastated that they grew up knowing it, because the idea is if you don't know the truth,
Right.
quote unquote, then then you're less accountable for your sins.
Right. So I would still be going to hell, or what is it? The outer darkness or whatever.
If you know,
Right.
if you know the truth and then you sin, it's so much worse
Right.
than if
Okay.
you didn't know
Then if
Got
you
it.
didn't know.
So
the truth.
I personally would be going to the outer darkness because my family has told me the truth and I'm choosing to ignore it.
You actually are not qualified for outer darkness.
Okay.
Just for the lowest
For
kingdom.
darkness.
Lowest kingdom. Sorry. What is
Outer
it?
darkness is only for people who have absolute proof, like have seen God. The prophets and the apostles who have their own personal, true, real witness, supposedly. But like, yeah, anyone who just has faith but no proof couldn't actually be sent to outer darkness.
Okay. That's good to know. Whew.
You'll just go to
So relieved.
the terrestrial kingdom where like you're a good person, you're not a serial killer. This is where we're all going. We don't have hate in our hearts, so we don't go murdering people. But yeah, you haven't done any really bad sins. You're a generally good person. You're going to the middle kingdom.
Okay. And what's that like?
Well, it's supposedly equal to our earth as far as like loveliness. It's a beautiful place, but I mean, it's better because there's no more like evil, and we don't get to be sealed forever with each other. In one old version of doctrine, we don't have genitals. So I'm like, this is kind of great.
Yeah. Actually,
It's kind of just like non-binary, like
Right.
asexual heaven.
Hell yeah. I'm so bad at knowing all of the doctrine, but since I'm not a good Mormon, my family believe like they're not going to see me again, right? Because they're going to be in a different kingdom.
They can visit you. So it's like not even bad.
Oh, okay.
You can't visit them because like you can't be in that place.
Like, I don't visit them anyway. I don't give a fuck. That's just like how it is now.
If they're in the good place, the perfect place, they can come visit you in the lower place. So it's like,
how kind.
I'm like, Dad, what are you worried about? Sounds
Come
great.
on down.
I actually, that was a legitimate thing when I was leaving the church. I was like, when you're forced to really think about your place in the world, when you're like considering your own beliefs, it's like, what is everyone really that worried about? Like, sounds like in their minds, I'll be in a great place. I mean, I don't believe that I'll be there anymore, but like, why are they so worried?
Right. Because Mormons don't have like hellfire, like damnation, like
they have
being
a
tortured, or
I think what they have is you spend time in hell for your unrepented sins, and then you are sorted out to your final place, which is all just great.
So I'm just going to go for a little bit.
That's all right. Sprinkle me a little bit of torture and then you can stick me. If it does happen to be true, I think about that because I have friends who are like, I say I believe because I'm scared. Like, what if there's a hell? And I think you've done anything bad in your life that you would end up in hell.
Like that, right?
Like what could you have possibly fucking done?
Yeah.
Like you're not a murderer. You're not, like you're not a bad person. Like you would, to think that like you'd end up there is crazy.
It's sad.
I was just going to say, not only that, but like, if God is real and all knowing, he knows you're pretending. Do you know what I mean? You're not saving yourself by pretending to believe.
That's autistic think. Same. God knows.
So tell us some exciting stuff about your music. Like, what's your life like now that you've deconstructed and you're just living the dream, it seems like?
Well, the exciting thing, makes me realize I didn't finish a thought from earlier. I always wanted to be an activist as a little kid who liked the vibe, liked the standing for something thing. But as an adult, I tried a few times writing songs that seemed like they were about something important, but I didn't really know how to articulate. And I would ultimately arrive at like, I should know more about this. Like, it's not going to be a very powerful statement unless I know more about this. And I don't know enough. And I just accepted, I don't have to like put myself into this box of something that I think is cool. Just write whatever songs you write, Callie. Like, it's fine. And so I kind of had a moment of realizing I'm not an activist writer. Like I've tried this a couple times. It's not me. It's not working. And I have found myself there suddenly because I know shit now.
Mm.
I know what's going on. And I didn't even mean to do it. So it's kind of funny how that works in life. Like a
Right.
thing I would have really wanted before and tried to like steer myself towards, that I just was like, just be free. You don't have to try and sing about things you don't understand. And I also have been writing songs long enough that here's what's exciting about my life is I hit this point a few years ago where I was like, oh my God, my songwriting has leveled up so hard. I had this perception about artistic things, that it was, you have this creativity in you, and whatever you make, like that shows your level of creativity. But songwriting is so much a skill that you can get better at. And it's fun to notice leaps forward. Like, oh, this isn't just like, oh, I'm creative, I'm talented, the way that people talk about arts, right? This is actually a skill I've learned, and I've done my 10,000 hours and more.
Right.
And now I can do things I could never do before. Like, for example, younger, I used to feel like, oh, I've got to sit and write when the inspiration strikes, because I don't always get inspiration. Now I can be like, fuck, I got to put in some work and write something right now. I don't feel like it. And an amazing song can happen
Right.
because
Right.
skill, because practice.
Right.
But yeah, as far as like the activism, that just started happening. And right now it's hard to want to write about anything else because my whole life
Right.
is in this. And I'm going to get political.
That's fine.
I realized over a year ago that I am a leftist and not a liberal.
Mhm.
And one interesting thing to note that relates to the religious conversation is that once that hit me, that I was not a liberal, I was terrified in a way that I hadn't been since I left the church.
Mhm.
They're not the same, like, obviously, but I was like, oh no, I am going to be rejected by a large community now that's mad that I'm not a liberal. And so that was an interesting thing to kind of work through. The last half of 2024, I was like, oh, I'm kind of scared to say the things that I think, but I'm saying them anyways, and I'm like walking on eggshells about it because I don't want to make liberals mad.
Right.
I feel that.
But yeah, I remember being on a podcast around that time, and my whole being just wanted to say free Palestine, but I was like, I don't want to, like, it's too scary to be rejected by a
Right.
community. Yeah.
Well, it's also hard too because, and on a smaller level, like there's a lot of things that I want to say or a lot of people want to say on social media, but you tend to take into consideration like the family that you have on there or something and you're like, oh, I don't even want to get into it with them. So I'm not going to say,
I don't know that
I
feeling.
know. No, he doesn't. She's like, fuck it. I say whatever the fuck. But I'm such a people
I'm quite
pleaser that I'm
similar.
like, I don't right. And I'm trying to get better because I'm always thinking like, oh God, do I want to get into this with my mom or with my mother-in-law or whatever? And
Yeah.
then also when you have like a business or, a band or whatever, obviously
Right.
you want people to gravitate to you that are like-minded and, that sort of thing. But it is also money and a business and all that kind of stuff. And you're like, am I going to say the wrong thing?
Mm.
And is it going to
Yeah.
get me, am I going to lose followers? Am I going to lose this? And it's like that constant battle in your head where you're like, I want to say everything that I feel. But also we live in capitalism and, unfortunately we need money to eat. So it's like, am I going to lose ticket sales? Am I going to lose business? Am I, are people going to listen to my podcast or, that sort of thing? And it's like,
Yeah.
you're walking that fine line. I mean, I call myself a liberal, but I feel like I'm more leftist than a liberal. Like I've
I'm
headed that
yanking
way.
you over there.
I know.
Yeah.
And I feel like liberal is like moderates now. Like,
Well, yeah, with the Overton window shifting so much to the right, it's like,
yeah. And so it's fucking hard.
yeah. I wonder though, since I am the one who does like all the social media stuff and I don't give a shit, do you ever see something I post and you're like, oh God?
Yeah, sometimes. But I'm like, but it's fine. It's fine because the people that we're trying to get to listen to us are the people we want in our lives. It's like you're sitting in a living room with your friends just talking shit.
Right.
And I want all those people to think the same as me. So it's like if people don't listen to us because they don't like our social media or they don't like what we're fucking talking about, I don't fucking give a shit.
If they don't like my TikTok, they're not going to like the show.
Sometimes it's scary. It's scary. Like that's where I was.
Noe
It's
is a cunt. I am a cunt light.
hell yeah. Cunt light. TM.
Exactly.
That's awesome. No, I feel that though, because that's kind of where I was. I also am just like, fuck you. I say what I want. I say how I feel. It's strange realizing that, like, oh, well, I left the church and there was just this community to fall into where I thought, oh, there's two things, you know?
Right.
There's this conservative way and there's this liberal way. And these are the ones that want the human rights and the good things for gay people. And, you know, this is the right one. Or where the good people are. And there's just so much more than that. And now I'm past that. I'm well past that.
Because it is like deconstructing from a political stance, you know, like you're like, wait a second, this
community I fell into because I knew that it was the right one suddenly might be offended by me and reject me.
Right.
Like
it's understandable.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you miss or still practice like in your daily life from being a Mormon?
Yeah, so they're kind of the same answer. It's that structured community that takes care of each other outside of just like we're buddies, we get along really well, so we're checking on each other. Like I really enjoyed the way of it's the standard to know the people who live near you. And have an organized way of knowing who has had a surgery, who has had a baby, who needs help. Even though sometimes it would just be superficial and it's like you need a meal, but that concrete mutual aid has become it was always something I missed, but it is once again really present in my mind because I realize the world is in chaos and that way of living is like the way that we take care of ourselves when our leaders will completely just let us die. So that's the thing I've missed. And I have not been good at creating that in my life before because I'm an introverted autistic person, but I now feel like it's a matter of urgency to make myself able to do that. I'm trying to start a community garden.
I love that.
I am still working some land to try and have it ready for next year, but I think about it all the time and I don't know how exactly I'm going to approach it, but I will. I might take a long time working it through in my mind, but I mean, living in a red state, man, it's like I'm scared of all my neighbors. I don't know any of them.
Right.
But
It's hard.
I go down my street and see who has the rainbow flags. And I'm like, okay, maybe I start there. And I just bring cookies. And I'm like, you seem like a safe house. I want to start a community chat. You know?
Right.
So.
Yeah. I know that's the thing about like Trump flags and stuff. I used to live in Huntington Beach, which is the Florida of Orange County, and they were everywhere, right? And at first it's like, oh God, I don't want to see them. But then also it's like, okay, now I know who to stay the fuck away from.
Well, and the super hard thing about my leftist values is like the Trump supporters are going to eventually they're going to be on the list of people I want to have in my community too. So it's like for an introverted non-binary person, like
Right.
scared that the government will take me away at some point when they get down that far on the list. I'm like, okay, even Trump supporters, any working class person could be an ally in this revolution.
It's that they're trying to keep us so divided so we don't focus on, no, it's actually the powerful versus us. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
Right.
And it's sad because it's like people really need to educate those who are of their same privilege level because like a Trump supporter who is super like transphobic, which they aren't all. I'm sure a lot of them are, but a Trump supporter who is super transphobic, like I'm not going to be the person to like show them that they can connect outside of their comfort zone because I'm not a comfortable thing to approach them.
Mhm.
So it's hard. It's hard to even know how to do that. But
For sure.
I know they exist.
Yeah, it's rough out there.
I'm just like, I start with the rainbow flags because that's the baby step I can start with.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Well, I wish you luck in that. That's awesome.
We'll see what happens.
We're all about that. Do you guys ever tour or like come play in California?
I am desperately trying to get us to where we can because we make a living entirely at music. Me and Zach, I'm in his studio. Well, our studio, but this is his office. He works in here. He is an audio engineer. He's actually non-binary too.
Sweet. Did you guys discover that together?
Discovered it at the same time. We're funny. We both know that we like hate the like confines of societal constructs, like we got engaged in 2016 and then like a few months before the wedding we were like, okay, let's make it a commitment ceremony. I don't like the way people see marriage. We're just that way.
Right.
And we did eventually get married too. Yeah. We've just known, we would say we have a little bit of gender dysphoria. And we knew that we were like pansexual, both of us. And in like February of 2024, we played a show that was advertised as an LGBTQ plus inclusive event. And we were like, hell yeah, that's us. We're queer. And we were talking to one of the vendors there, and it was a non-binary person. They were like, I was hearing your music up there. It sounded awesome. And we were just having a conversation, and they said, well, I'm working on trying to find bands to book for an upcoming Men's Pride Festival. So we obviously want to highlight trans artists. Are either of you non-binary or trans? And both of us were like, well, I mean, and then we like got in the car on the way home from our gig and we're like, why couldn't we answer that?
Right. You had like trans imposter syndrome a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. Or like, we should know, like the answer would obviously be a quick no if we knew that it was no.
Right.
So
yeah.
we discussed it. And that's when both of us realized like, well, it's because we're fine with our pronouns. It's because it doesn't offend us.
Right.
And then because the logical autistic person, I was like, well, that's dumb that I would be defining what non-binary means based on the pain of it.
Right.
I have to be offended by pronouns in order to be considered non-binary. And yeah, we both realized we were in that place. And
that's so cool. You guys are made for each other. Ex-Mormon, you both found your genders or lack of genders, however you want to.
You're like, it's gross how much we're perfect for each other.
It really is. We're just weird little creatures together.
I love
That's
that.
awesome.
And we discuss sometimes, it's like, I don't know if I feel no gender or all gender. I think I've decided I feel more all gender, and Zach feels a little more towards the no gender side of the spectrum. But we both, we're so used to being called the pronouns we've been called. Like I've obviously been saying him when I've been talking about Zach, but there are moments, it's fun because we're starting to discover the moments together where we feel that it's weird to call the other person the normal, pronoun we're used to. Right. And it's just kind of, it's really fucking cute. It's really romantic actually to like witness that in each other, and it's fun. He'll be like, I realized in that conversation earlier with that person that I felt very strange when I called you she. And I'm like, that's fun. Tell me more about that.
Right.
We're just learning things together, and it's
I love that.
Cute. I'm trying to figure out how to educate online. I think about those things a lot. And when I say educate online, I literally I give speeches in my head all the time that I'm like, I need to tell people this. But I make very few talking heads because I'm scared of
it's hard
talking to a camera.
Yeah.
It's just I'm not scared of being me. It's more the awkwardness of talking to camera.
Yeah, I feel that.
It's hard to get past. But I always think about that educating within your privilege level. Because it's like, oh, if I've started to understand certain things about like anti-racism that I didn't understand before, then I'm qualified to tell other white people.
Right.
Like, we need to be learning from like BIPOC people, right? About anti-racism. So like, I'm not the authority on anti-racism, but I can speak to a white person in a way that's like less exhausting for me.
Mhm.
You know, like if I'm trying to educate somebody about like transphobia, it's way more exhausting for me as a like non-binary person than it would be if I were, you know, gender, like if I were cisgender.
Mhm.
Right.
So
Yeah, that
educating
makes
within your
total
privilege
sense.
is really important.
100%.
Sure. That was kind of a tangent, and I'm trying to remember what I was relating it to.
It's okay.
But
That's all right. Tangents are our middle name, all three of us. We
And
got AD.
Aaliyah, you're not here to stop us.
Exactly. But really fast back to the music thing. If you play Ace of Spades in Sacramento, we will be there in a heartbeat. So
I'm
keep that
writing
on
that
the
down
list.
Yeah.
because I am in the place where I am gathering venues to approach. We want to so badly. I actually started planning a tour for this fall, which
Cool.
made me realize that we needed to be at a higher growth spot before that.
Yeah.
Or get on a tour with somebody else who has a bigger
Yeah.
audience, which is also really hard. So you'll be sprayed with posts every day from me because I'm trying to grow.
Right. As
Good.
you should. I think,
Yes.
and that's the hardest part about, I mean, even for us with our podcast, I'm like, I don't want to annoy people, but then I'm like, what the, I have to. Like,
Yeah.
the goal is for people to see me.
Yeah.
Right.
If they
And
don't
so,
see you for like 5
yeah,
hours, it's
I
like they
actually,
move on to something else.
yeah. So I admire people that are like, that's what you have to
Mhm.
be doing, just putting yourself out there
Yeah.
consistently.
I was thinking about it yesterday and I was like, every song is an activist song, except for the very last one,
You're just
which is
now realizing that.
someone said, well, we got local magazine, Slug magazine, reviewed our latest album, and it said something about how it was just like totally an activist album. And I was like, that song, yeah, yep.
I guess
I'm just
so.
writing about stuff that I care about. Yeah.
That's
Anyways,
awesome.
Embalmed is the one that,
That's a good one. I love that
yeah,
music
I'm
video
excited
too.
about it. I'm trying to get more people to see the music video because it was a really special experience. A crew of entirely volunteers made that super professional music video for us.
Yeah, it looks great.
It's
Mhm.
beautiful. It made me feel famous. I love it. Was like a 4-day shoot, and I got to just show up and get in hair and makeup. And
Yeah, I think maybe that's the one that I saw that made me follow you originally. And seeing it, you're like, oh my God, this person is like a huge star. And not to diminish what you've accomplished so far, but going to your page, I was like, this person needs way more like recognition. So I'm sure that that's coming
that's good.
because you're
That's
very cool. You're very
Mhm.
unique.
It's not a bad
and-
impression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I
Yeah.
love that.
It's it is definitely a vibe. You definitely have a star vibe.
Aw,
Absolutely.
thanks.
We have a little segment that we like to do at the end called 7 Minutes in Heaven, where we just ask kind of ridiculous questions to lighten the mood. It's the same 7 questions every time. Our listeners know this. So, are you ready
Nice.
to play 7 Minutes in Heaven?
Yes.
Okay, great.
The glasses have to come back on. Shit. Okay.
I
All
like
right.
your glasses.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Number 1, fuck, marry, kill. Joseph Smith, the Angel Moroni, and the Book of Mormon itself.
The Book of Mormon itself.
Right. Either the actual book or just the abstract concept. I don't know.
Moroni, Joseph Smith, and the Book of Mormon. Okay. Fuck, marry, kill. I'm going to fuck Moroni for sure.
Yeah, fair enough.
But wait.
Right.
I'm gonna marry Moroni. I'm gonna marry Moroni. But I don't want to fuck Joseph Smith, guys. Yes,
No, but
okay.
if you kill the book, doesn't it all go away? No.
Oh, we're doing timeline things now. Shit. We're doing temporal mechanics. Or, okay, I'm going to kill Joseph Smith because fuck that bastard.
Mhm.
And then I'm going to fuck the book because that just feels really blasphemous. That feels
Yeah.
like, you know,
There you go. It's like rolling a joint with it. You're
like
just
in a
gonna fuck
church
it. Right.
bathroom, I'm going to be like grinding on the book.
Hell yeah.
That's perfect. I love it. All right. And then we've got number 2. What is the most ridiculous thing you believed in terms of scripture or doctrine in your past religious life?
Well, gonna get dark with that one, but that it was important for me to defend my sexual purity with my life if necessary is the worst.
Yeah. And who do you think is the hottest deity? And that can be any mythological figure, religious figure, or anything like that.
That's gonna be Lilith,
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
the first rebellious wife of Adam.
I had that on our baby name list if I would have had a girl.
Nice. I don't know if she's technically a deity, but like, I mean, to some
Yeah,
people for
It
sure.
counts. It counts.
Yes, definitely. And number 4 is what is your Jello salad? So, what is a dish that you, for our non Mormon listeners, this means, is there anything from your former church or religious family gatherings that you still make or enjoy?
I don't make it, but I get really excited when I'm at a gathering that has funeral potatoes.
Hell yeah. That was our
They're
last
just
guest's answer too.
Yep.
really good comfort food.
Right. And there's not a ton of like Mormon delicacies, so we've got that nailed. I don't think there's
Yeah.
anything much better than that.
So good.
If you were to start a cult today, what would the uniform be?
Okay, it would be some kind of like high fashion variation on a lab coat because my cult would be like science based.
There you go. Perfect.
I love that.
Maybe like we'd like dress it up with, I don't know, golden suns and moons on there or
Okay.
something. I really like doing like solstice and equinox
Nice.
things.
I like that vibe.
Perfect.
That's a new one.
Nice.
And what is your favorite curse word?
So curse words are really therapeutic when you're leaving high control religion. And early on, after leaving the church, I would try to come up with like really blasphemous phrases and like make myself comfortable with saying
Right.
them, like for personal therapy. And the one that stuck is Jesus titty fucking Christ.
I love
I
that.
it.
We've gained some pretty fun ones because we just thought everybody would say fuck. And so we were just prepared
That
for
is
that.
the
But
main one. But
yeah, it is.
I
But
love when it's not because we get to hear
yes,
something new. What is it? Jesus fucking titties Christ?
Titty-
Jesus titty fucking Christ.
Jesus titty fucking
titty
Christ.
fucking Christ.
I'm
Yep.
going to say that next time I stub my toe.
There you go. And number 7, what is your guilty pleasure?
Well, I don't experience a lot of guilt about my pleasures these days. Yay.
Yay.
That's the goal.
I am kind of a fiend for charcuterie. Like
Mm.
almost every night of our lives, me and Zach are making a fancy ass charcuterie and watching TV.
It's the best way
You're
to
just
eat.
living the life.
I know, seriously.
God.
I'm so
We
happy
started
for
that
you.
early on in our dating. I remember like going to whatever store was open at like midnight, probably fucking Walmart, and getting the fanciest cheese we could find and like some grapes and raspberries. And I remember Zach looking at me and going, "You know what I like about you? You know how to have a good time." And I
It's
was
like
"Fuck
looking in
yeah."
a mirror. That is so
That's so
cute.
awesome. Well, thank you for playing and thank you for being here and, taking time out of your busy life to come talk to
Thank
us.
you.
And because we didn't ask you, we used to make this part of 7 Minutes in Heaven, but then we felt like it was not like a fun question.
Yeah.
But what do you think happens when we die?
Ooh. Yeah, I guess I didn't really talk about my new beliefs very much. I believe in the collective consciousness in a way that isn't necessarily even like spiritual or religious.
Mhm.
Just the zoomed out concept that we are all connected and we are all one organism together.
Mhm.
Even like the earth, we're just like fungus
Right.
growing on the earth. And so I think that the consciousness of like single person ego consciousness is just one way of experiencing being. So I think that when I die, that part of me that thinks I'm Callie, I am one person, I think that goes back to the way it was before I was born. I didn't have any distress before I was born. I don't remember that wasn't a thing to worry about.
Right.
So yeah, I guess some people would see that as a non-existence, but I think that our our energy and our matter becoming a part of this organism again means that we are experiencing
Mm,
life still in a very different way.
right. I can rock.
It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
we go back to nothing, but at the same time, our egos might go back to nothing, but
But then we're like mycelium
we're the
in
whole.
the ground and yeah,
Yeah.
sweet.
And
We are the whole
energy and
forever.
yeah,
Yeah, I can rock with that. I like that.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Can you plug your socials or anything that you have going on?
Yeah, dieshiny.com is the place.
All right.
We're Die Shiny on all the socials, but my thing that I'm trying to push people toward is that billionaires do not own our mailing list. And I'm one person working on all this
Right.
business stuff myself, so I haven't started really like sending a lot on my mailing list yet, but I have fun plans for it. The main thing is no matter what I say or do or represent that could get me kicked off of any of the social platforms, if you give me your email, I I have a relationship with you. So
Right.
relationship with my community is what matters way more than the social follows
Right.
or anything.
And a
So yeah, dieshiny.com.
a smaller community of fans who like truly love you versus just like kind of casual listeners. I feel like that's more important because I've
Yeah.
noticed as we're growing our podcast, it's not huge yet by any means, but like the people who like really interact and engage, it's so much nicer to like just build person by person. Then you know they're like actually fans and like
Mhm.
Yeah.
align with you versus,
Right.
just
Bots and
passive scrolling likes
Yes.
or whatever.
right.
Well, and every artists all have different motivations for what they do, and none of those are wrong.
Right.
Like some people are trying to like make it big and there's a lot of whys for the passion, but for me, I really, really want to connect with people and feel a sense of community and belonging and offer that to other people as well. So yeah, join our community if you feel so inclined, or just go to dieshiny.com to find our hub for whatever you're looking for.
Thank you again so much.
So
Talk
nice to
soon.
meet you.
So nice
Thank
to
you,
meet
you
you.
too.
Bye.
Bye.
Screaming, what a pretty little dream. Let me tell you, Papa. Let me sell you this thing. It's limited edition, one of a kind.